What's good, YouTube? I'm gonna tell y'all a couple different stories, but I thought about something and I told myself, no, let me quit. I was about to tell a story about the 1992 riots, and then I was watching something on TV, and I just literally just kind of started tripping out, like how many things I notice now when it comes to women. So I'm gonna come straight from the heart and keep it real and break down some things, because for a lot of folks that know me from Seattle, I can't just say Seattle, up and down the West Coast, because literally PO was my second home, and Lancaster, California was my third home, because PO was so close. So I then made moves and had a real good woman. I won't call her a chick. Actually, this was my first love. I don't care nobody says. Literally. And I ain't gonna put her name out there, but she was a good woman to me. And we were only, I was 19, 18 or 19. I think she had me by 2 or 3 years. But man, she was great. So anyway, let me get back to the starting point of what I was just talking about. When you've been single as long as I have, and you ain't been out there, and not just single, but not even on a dating scene, not messing around, not even, and I ain't gonna get into how long, because it'll blow people away, how long it's been for me being out there, really being the OD chill, because I was a cold piece of work, for real. But when I just was watching like my dog, I got something recorded, this cat commercial break me. This dude literally loves some Bernie Mac. I mean, he watches that show like he's a human, laying on the couch like he got his legs crossed, like this is his spot, this is his show, don't interrupt him. The cat loves Bernie Mac, because he'll sit and watch other TV shows, but that Bernie Mac or Kearney Cat, look, he is watching it for real, like really tuned in, on his back, letting his hang, everything. And then he's the best when it comes to that. But I was just checking out Wanda, the lady that played Wanda on that show, and I was just looking at her mannerism, the way how she was looking at her husband, the way how she was just all those things. And it tripped me out, because I sat and thought about it, like the things you take for granted, the things you don't pay too much attention to, the things you ignore, all those key points of a woman being in your presence, or being in your life, in your makeup, in your discussion, you tend to, I won't just say you are not aware of, but you really take for granted, because you're like, they'll always be there. I never forget my ex-wife saying that to me when she was leaving, like, you thought I was never gonna go nowhere, and she was right. For real. Because you get so caught up in you, thinking that you are the only person laying that pig, as Joe T would say. Man, look here, there's other people that know how to do that too, and they can do it better than you. You're not the best at everything, partner. That's just life. And but the main thing that I was getting to is that how me personally, how I look now, the things that I'm so aware of, and the things that I pay attention to, because I know how important a woman is in a relationship. Of course, we know that, but everything, like the things that we should be paying close attention to, the things that we should be, how should I put it? You gotta be careful on YouTube. It's just, without getting too vulgar or disrespectful, sometimes we just make it seem as if, as long as we're hitting that funny spot and talking and saying a couple of things here and there, that they're going to always be there. I don't think a lot of us really pay attention to not just the beauty of that woman, but the way how she looks at you. I'll never forget a time we're out and about. I think we might have been at my house. I used to throw little shindigs. We go out in the backyard and fire up the grill, go underneath the little cabana thing I had made, and we sit there, and this is when I was drinking and smoking, and my relatives would come by, and we'd be kicking it, playing dominoes, cards, or what have you. And I'll never forget my cousin, after the thing was over, because my wife at the time was sitting next to me as I'm playing, and we just kicking and having fun. Everybody just doing the thing. The kids are running around, or the kids are jumping in the pool, because I literally had a pool on the. We lived right on the corner of Holly and Rain of 42nd and Holly, literally right on the corner of this house, and I had a big old swimming pool right there in the front yard. And this is the corner joint, so everybody, we right on the corner with the swimming pool. So the kids, they kicking it, enjoying it. So, I'll never forget my big cousin. She was like, and this was after all this had taken place. She was like, "Boy, that woman really loved you." And I was like, "Why you say that?" She said, "The way how she is looking at you, she just was looking at you and." Going back to the things that I said that we take for granted or don't pay attention to, she was just like the way how she's looking at you. She's deeply in love with you. The way how a woman looks at their man with that type of love, appreciation, and respect. She said she's seen it. Now, at the time, I had, because this is just me, I pay attention to my surroundings. So out of my peripheral, I can see her looking in my eyes, but looking in a way I've never seen her look at me. Now, I hadn't been around this woman at that time for, we were married 12 years. So yeah, I had been around her at this time for 12 years. Now, we've been together for like 15. And I never seen that side of her. I never seen that look from her. We're not talking in the bedroom when you're doing things. That's a whole different thing. We're talking when you're sitting there just enjoying a breeze, enjoying life, and that person giving you that look without you even communicating with them. They're just giving you that look of love and affection without you even knowing, because you're doing what you're doing, playing dominoes, hanging out, whatever you're doing like I was doing. But out of my peripheral, I could see that look that my cousin had said. And it just blew me away, because maybe she's been doing it even regardless of what I said. I don't remember seeing it. Maybe she's been doing this more than just that one time that I noticed. And that's my point. We take a good woman for granted. And I'm not going to say that she was perfect, neither was I, because you might think I'm being, how should I put it, because I do plan on telling the story that I think is important to tell, because I've been laying off of this subject, because I don't want a person to think that I got any ill feelings towards them, but I do need to discuss the real, because it's going to help someone else in their situation, because I do need to paint a picture about different things that happen in our divorce, pre-divorce, after our divorce, and so on and so forth, because sometimes people take us for granted, and good or bad, and it could really turn out like there's events in the world. It could turn out really horrible for someone if you don't pay attention to this. So I might just throw this all in at one time, but the point I was getting to is, here it is. She had been faithful, if you will, giving me that love and affection, giving me that look and all that good stuff, that possibly more often than I gave her credit for, because I'm so used to just being me. Now, mind you, I do, and I was aware of the fact that At the it's kind of, how should I say it? There was a time and a space where both of us were really active and involved in our church, and we were consistent in that. Then, we veered off. Nevertheless, I believe during that time we had a great time of getting to know ourselves, as well as getting to know our Father, the Creator, the Most High, Yah, God, however you may put him. But, excuse me, I didn't give her, and I don't think us as men give our women the credit that's due, because we are so caught up in the old person sometimes, even though you're transitioning from that old way of life. But sometimes we don't spend enough time paying attention to that person that's right there and giving them credit for who they are and who they become and how much they appreciate you. And then for me, for instance, I'm complaining about different things that I don't think I hear or see enough, when partner probably have been doing it more often than I've seen. But here I am complaining because of that time that I didn't receive what I wanted, or that time I didn't see. And you gotta weigh these things out. It's not gonna always be peaches and cream and perfect your entire relationship, or when you don't see something or want something to be going on. That ain't Knuckles is ashy. But the point I'm getting at is, commercial break me, y'all. I don't like my little Knuckles or anything being ashy, but the main thing I'm trying to point out is we have to really, if we want to keep a good woman, keep a good man, for you women, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. It's not how I get down, and I'm never going to deviate from that or try to make it seem like I'm trying to appease somebody or the masses. None of that. Look here, it is what it is. And if you understand what I'm talking about, you understand what I'm talking about. Because just being wise, you don't want to be rude and offensive to anyone. And so I used to be really commercial break me, because I'm going off the subject. Folks, for y'all to really catch this, understand what I'm getting at. So when I say for you men and you women, I'm talking about that man that has that woman that has that man. This is the way how you ought to think of treating, think about, and honoring and respecting that other person that's in your relationship, because you don't see everything. And when you do see it, be thankful for it and appreciate it. Because I tell you, man, for the duration, now that I call myself being back on the dating scene, I got about good 4-5 in the wing pipe that I'm, hollering at. Not that I'm being no slut. It's just the fact that I'm communicating and seeing who would be the best option for me. Because I'm not looking for no girlfriend no more. Them days is over. I'm not 17. I'm looking for a woman to be a wife. Bottom line, there's no in between. All that old school Dorian Beach Hill, hitting a bunch of chicks and getting glued down so many different times in one day, because I was really that sick with it. I need to have it multiple times. Let me get off of that. The point I'm getting to is life is different once you get older and wiser. You start looking at things a lot differently. You start analyzing, paying attention. You start, at least for me, I'm starting to realize what's in front of me, as well as what things I've lost and how and why I lost certain things. Because in any relationship, there's never going to be, I can't say never, but most times it's not going to be one person is, no one does any wrong in a situation. Both parties are going to, majority of the time, I'm gonna do some wrong, she's gonna do some wrong, and vice versa. So you can't just always say, well, I was all the way right, and partner didn't do this. There is situations where you have a person that's very faithful and that other person wasn't, but nevertheless, it's not just about being faithful. There's other things that are involved in a relationship, and we tend to forget that. Like, for instance, me personally, and I'm talking of outside the bedroom, I like to hear my name being called. I like to hear a person talk good nothings, speak good nothings, not a person, we be straight because of the days we're in now. I like my woman to say and speak certain things to me that the average may not. And it's not being no sucker, it's not being all punkish and soft. This is the romantic side of me. This is what I like as me being a person. I'm fully confident and aware of my manhood, but at the same time, this is what I would like out of my woman to share with me. And there's other different things. I'm not going to mention them all, but because you don't put everything out of the playbook. You want a person to come to you raw, authentic in their self, not having all the answers to the test. I want you to come and just be who you are, and I want to feel you out and you feel me out, verbally, socially, spiritually, and the whole shebang. And so those are things that that was something that I was thinking about, that it was just like, wow, just off of me checking out that one show and looking at how Wanda was just sitting there just looking sweet, innocent, but it was just the way how she was looking, and I pay attention to stuff like that. But I have to say, I didn't pay attention enough when I was in the relationship, because had I paid attention enough, things could have possibly turned out different had I had given her more credit than I did. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, I complained a lot, and she can second that. And there's other things that I did a lot that didn't make no sense. And it's like, are you serious, man? It's not that serious. Like, there's more to life than that. And maybe I'll save that for another discussion. But I'm really honestly paying for a lot of my not being aware. I'm paying for not being aware and having to look at life now and be like, wow, dang. And I'm not saying that like, oh, I just did so much wrong and now, partner's gone, because partner know that she did the ultimate, and that's a way piss poor behavior, out of pocket. I'm just cut it clean with you. I'm not finna try to sugarcoat that and just make it seem like, oh, I done all this wrong. We both done wrong. However, there's some things that you can do that are fixable, and then there's things you can do that don't come talk to me ever again type of behavior. And that's just the unfortunate part. And I believe partner understood where I stood, especially once I went back to go get my child. Regardless of what she did, I know what the relationship me and that child had, and I know how much that child loved me, and that can't be broken. And that's something else. Commercial break me, because this is off of the subject about talking about the woman, this, that, and the third. This is just dealing with reality of life. We've always, majority of us, always heard the slogan, the saying, blood is thicker than water. Blood is thicker than water. I have a new slogan. Love is thicker than blood. And I'm going to explain to you without putting too much out there. To say it from this standpoint. My stepdad too, but he was such a gangster. He showed love in his ways, but he was such a gangster that he just showed his love in his behavior versus verbalized it coming, and he did some time. Anyway, my stepdad did show love. Me and him sat down when he got older and talked about some things. But I know from the gate, my stepdad was straight gangster from Chicago, for real. But my grandpa, now we're talking not my mama's dad or my daddy's dad. We're talking my grandpa that my grandma married. This man showed his love in more ways than I can point out or mention, and we were not blood related. My aunties, I was just telling my auntie the other day, and I pray I didn't miss her event, even though I don't think I was going to go to her event, because I knew it might be a bad look because another family member may have been there, and I know I'm going to keep it cool, but that person might have said something, and I'm at a point now where I'm ready to release things, and it doesn't matter who's around, everybody's going to hear it, and it might embarrass that person because they've been putting on the front for a long time, and I'm about to tear down. If they ever speak to me ill will in the public, try to front me off, any of that corny stuff, I'm letting them have it. And I'm talking verbally. I'm not talking about being physical and none of that old foolishness. I'm just saying there's a lot that I've held in for too long, and if you say the wrong thing to me, I'm going to let you have it. Period. So my aunties, and we're talking like my uncle had children, 3 by this auntie that I had saw. We're at the store and I was leaving the gym anyway, and then there's 2 more aunties. My auntie, may the Lord rest her soul, in California. My auntie Joyce, loved her, and 2 other aunties, my aunt Charlotte and my aunt Darlene. My aunt Darlene, she just treat me like I'm a little baby still, like I'm 4 years old. She loves me and I love her. They weren't my blood aunties, and I was telling them, and I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful to my own kinfolks, but those aunts have done more for me. I'm not saying like you always got to take care of, but when it's your aunt or uncle, you're someone that's over you, you expect things because you're still a child growing and needing to learn and go through this life. So you're expecting things, not always monetary. You're just expecting to learn from. When you get older, you learn to look back on life like, oh no, I was just trying to learn how to get through life and needed your guidance. Them women and my grandpa showed me the ultimate love and did it way more than my blood family. So that's what I'm saying, and we got to really get a grip on life. All those old sayings and slogans of how we was raised is just not true. Yeah, we know technically blood is thicker than water. Yeah, we know that. But trust me, because I'm a real person. I've done so much, and people that know me know that I have a heart pure of gold. Yeah, I'm not perfect. I get mad and upset, but trust me, if you look at and rewind the tape and come ask me why I'm doing these different things, because you piss me off because of the way how you're living and the way that you're doing, and I just don't do evil things off the rip. Now, when I was in the streets, I still didn't really operate like that. I ain't never went and shot up no Crips just because they're wearing blue. No, you got to come to the hood and have done something to me or mine, or you don't have to come to the hood. You had to have done something to me or mine, and I'm coming to see you. Now, there's other times I went and pressed on different neighborhoods, but that's because I got to press my dominance over my enemy. But I've never been the type to just, and I kind of sound like I'm, what's the word? I kind of feel like I'm not being authentic in that statement I made. So the point I'm getting at is, when I look at life, I don't look at like, okay, everything because of who I am, because of my mama's side of me. I just don't look at me being an evil person and always trying to go do something to someone on an evil tip. That's just not me. However, I have done it before. So let me be clear. I can't just say that But the point about me going up and just shooting up folks because of this, no. Now, as far as me going up and pressing my, just pushing my weight around, if you will, I have done that. So I'm not going to say I'm perfect in that regard. But as far as having that heart that's just not D-Chill. People just know that it's not Dorian. We know the things that he has done, but as far as just really being that evil person, coming and doing something that's going to not fighting, that's one thing, but coming to try to take someone's life and all that, I wasn't a person that just pushed that unless I had to. There's a difference in my estimation. So my point about the whole blood thicker than water thing is, it's not true. Bottom line. Blood is thicker than water. Yeah, just like we know oil is thicker than water. But at the end of the day, family members, just because they're your blood, trust me, I'm speaking from experience, and I can tell you stories after stories of situations that I've been in, that I've seen other people in, where they were expecting or thinking or assuming that a family member is going to do X, Y, and Z, where they may have literally had to beg for something and they shouldn't have, because it should be natural, especially how much loot that you didn't give up for. Let me just shut up before I get really pissed and say some things. But it's just really sad and sick when you really look back on life and people got the nerve to say and still think that blood is thicker than water. No, it's not. Trust me. Those aunties and my grandpa have done way more than my aunties that are my blood family have ever done. Period. It's just the facts. So we got to get into, and that's why I was going to go on to say more about me and my child. We have a relationship, or I should start back from the beginning. We've had a great relationship as she was growing up. She always came in as a little girl checking on daddy when he was sick. How are you doing? Going and getting different little things from me, getting water from me because I was sick. I never forget I had a real bad flu. She's was always been that type. And then when she got older and was living on her own, always calling and checking on her daddy. Even when she lived in a different state, she's always calling to check on me, always wanting to see how I'm doing. That's love. When a person do, not because they need something or want something. We're talking at a time when I was really down. Before I got hit with that lump sum from Boeing, I was struggling, for real, really struggling. But she still loved me as her daddy, regardless of what was done behind closed doors to me and her. She still loved me as her dad and showed it, versus other folks that were just always around to get something, and then as soon as something don't go their way, pew, the outro. So I don't care about that blood thing, because I'm telling you, that is a phony, false narrative, whatever you want to call it, that is not true. Just because a person, I'll say it again, and I'm that commercial break me. How did Tony Montana say it? One time, man. One time. You had to tell the boy, come on, repeating this up, man. Bump all that. I can hear you, and I heard you the first time. So you don't have to repeat yourself, partner. It's one time, man. I told you one time. Oh boy, 30 meters. He's like, boy, I heard you the first time. You don't keep on hitting me with the same foolishness. I heard you. And that's just how I be. But on this subject, I'm going to say, and I believe this is my third time, maybe fourth or fifth, that blood is thicker than water is a lie from the pits of hell. Period. Point blank. And anybody that pushes that narrative, you know you're dealing with a liar. Because it is not true. I just gave you facts, and I'm sure there's other folks out in the world, because I'm not telling you all the stories. I'm just telling you the good side of it, of what my aunts have done. I can tell you the negative side of people that's blood related to you and what they have not done. If we want to use this blood is thicker than water, then you would assume they're going to come through for you because blood is thicker than water, and they haven't. Unless you asked or begged. Not just come and do it on GP because they know you're struggling, or because this is my nephew, he's been going through this, and I need to make sure he's had this stroke. Let me make sure I can go. None of that. None of that. It is what it is. But these other aunties, still there. God rest her soul, my Auntie Joy, she's no longer here. But trust, she would have been calling and checking in on me. How you doing, nephew? What's going on? Even friends, if you will. My one of my arch nemesis. I'm not gonna say his name, but he is from oh my goodness. There was a crew back in the day. It was MOA and there was OSC. And I'm almost done, y'all. We couldn't stand them. They couldn't stand us. And me and this person then chunked them. We didn't have our little issue, verbal assaults. We didn't, had our big gang beef, big scuffles with my neighborhood and his neighborhood, and their town, and in their section and in my section, multiple times. But at the end of the day, when I had my stroke and was really struggling and hurt, none, let me repeat myself, none of my immediate homeboys came and checked on me. None of them came to the hospital. I may have talked with a couple, maybe a couple called. None of them came and looked out and did anything close to what this old enemy did. Do you know this cat, for y'all that don't know this area, Kent, Washington, and I was living in Everett, Washington. That's maybe 30, maybe 45 minutes depending on traffic. It's a long ride. This guy that used to be my enemy, and man, I'm telling you, we didn't get along. He would come out there religiously, consistently, whatever word you want to put, and come help me around the house, come do things that no ordinary man would do to help a friend or a foe. Something I'm not even going to mention because I don't want no one to think I'm putting him down for the things that he's done, but I'm looking at it like I couldn't do it. I got a walker over there, but this other walker, I literally had a walker and was dragging my feet, because when you have a stroke as bad as I did, your whole right side, left side, could be both sides are messed up, but it was my right side, so I'm still learning how to walk. I think it took me 6 months to learn how to walk again. So I'm still dragging my right foot. This man wouldn't did things that I needed to be done around the house, and was still coming to the house and sit with me hours and make sure that I'm doing my exercise, because he was really fit, always been. He used to be on Bach Wolian back in the days, for real, and had them knockout hits. I mean, he was a soldier from their section. I give him that. Man, look, the cat would come and make sure I'm doing my exercises, and then after, Lord have mercy, after making sure I done my exercises, he would sit there with me and spend time and hang out with me, talk with me, chop it up, watch a movie, just sit there. And because when you're going through something like that, you're still mentally kind of messed up, and you're trying to get out of that fog, because folks don't know that depression is real. So this guy would sit there, spend time with me, talk about the word, and talk about natural things, because all the time a person don't want you to be trying to preach to them, because they would just want to speak about, hey, just life in general. You can't talk about the Bible the entire time. That's just not wisdom. Because anybody's going to get burnt out, especially a human, on hearing one thing all day long. Anyway, that's at least me. Somebody else can tell you that they're fine with it, not I. Because I need to talk about everything that's going on in life, not just the Bible all day long. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that on the subject, for real. But that man would do that. He would look like a battery trying to go dead. He would definitely be there, drive my truck, because he had the L's. He had the license for that thing, he'd drive the truck, be protected, make sure that we're both straight, because living in this day and age, anything could happen based on what we did in our old lifetime. We might still have old enemies. It is what it is. But yeah, we had them things, and just giving you the whole story. And man would drive me to the store, get the groceries I need. Make sure he put them in the truck for me as I'm going to get out my walker, and he'll put the walker up for me. And then one of my friends, someone I'm not going to say how close we were because I'm not going to give this person up, but one of my friends, or supposed to be, my homegirl taught me, associates, Dorian. Quit calling everybody your friend, because everybody's not your friend. You have associates and you have friends. You need to learn how to differentiate who's who. And literally maybe a couple of days after, I almost said my guy's name, after my partner had left, one of my partners contacted me. Hey, you need anything? Yeah, cool. So I'm getting taken to the store. I'm thinking, oh, okay, man, finally one of my partners came through, one of my dogs. Okay, things are rolling like it's supposed to, because we got like 30, 40 years in life, not just being in no gang banging thing. We have this much time in life together since we were little kids. I think I was still pissing in the bed, to be clear with you. That's how close some of these cats, I knew we went back a long way. So he took me to the store. We went to, somebody else is there, but I'm not going to mention that. So we come out from the store, and we rolling, about to drop me back off, and I'm just, I'm excited. We even actually end up calling the partner I was just talking about, just to say, hey, guess who I'm with, who came through, and they chopped up, they were laughing, talking about the old days and stuff, because, of course, we all remember the scuffles that we had. And so I end up hanging up with him, and we're leaving, and the cat hits me up with, hey, D, you still got the 20 in food stamps that I loaned you? Are you serious? I had a stroke, been out of commission, and you talking about something that you loaned me before I went into the hospital? This is the only reason why you came to do this, because that's the way how I'm putting this all together, is because that's just that's my mindset. I'm not looking at what you did now at that point. I'm thinking of, this was the reason why you came out here, because some people, I've come to find out and learn about certain people that I've been knowing for a long time, because I've been around them and now I'm really analyzing everything since I was a child with them. Some people are that greedy. Some people are that greedy that they will do everything that you think is nice and loving to help you out, just to mention they need that little bit of money. Even if you're in your worst state of life, it doesn't matter. That's just how pathetic and poor-minded some folks are. Granted, it's theirs, they loan, it's the timing, it's the principle. It's like, why would you do this when a person's down, knowing when I got broke off, I just gave you change on the rip. I never get handed the cat $50. You're like, why are you giving? So shocked, because some people are not used to giving things away to their partners because they're so tight. Why are you giving this? Because you're my partner. I'm not going to say how close this person is, because everybody else in town know what I'm talking about. Because you're my partner, and we're supposed to look out for each other like that on GP. The person looked out for me way before in life. So I'm thinking, hey, I got some extra change. I'm talking like when we was out there banging, doing what we were doing. So I'm just like, okay, why not? This is supposed to be my homeboy, and I'm up right now. Not that it was a whole lot, but I'm just like, okay, let me give my guys something. And for you to ask me later about some 20, I think it was, anyway, I don't want to get too much into it, but it just, man, I kid you not, it blew me away. But at the end of the day, that's just how that blood is thicker than water is a joke. That thing that we think of just because these persons are your homeboys, you've been riding with them for 30, 40 years, that they're your friends. That's not true. You have to analyze and pay attention to everything and put it in its right perspective. Some people are your associates. You've known them for a while. That's good. But everyone can't go into the friend book, and everyone can't go into their family because they're your blood. That doesn't work either. Your family, your friends are those that look out for you no matter what, just like you would do for them. It's not I got to do for you as much as you do for me. No, it's just in your heart that you're going to look out for that person. And that's what differentiates us all from friend, family, foe. It's in your heart. If you have a heart of gold and you just going to look out for someone because you have purity and you want to help someone like we're supposed to, then that's when it all comes together. But when you don't have that heart, that lets me know that we're not connected. We might be associates. We've been knowing each other for a long time. Yeah, we done went through the muck and mire and all this other foolishness together. But at the end of the day, we're just associates. Because if you was my friend, you would want to help me out. You would want to forgive that debt. Like, oh, that's nothing. That's pennies. Don't worry about that. Instead of making a mirage, make it seem like you're looking out for me just for at the end of it all to be like, oh yeah, do you remember that? Like, that's piss poor. I mean, it is what it is. Excuse my vernacular, my language. That's just how, look here, I'm not one of those highly educated right now because I am studying to get my vocab up. Like Malcolm X had to do when he was in the pen. That's how I'm doing. Dictionary, vocabulary builder, thesauruses, however you say that. Yeah. Well, I was studying all these things too. I got hit with a left hook out of nowhere, and now I got to get my mind back right after I get moved. As you can see, I didn't. Everything behind me. Normally, I got the Spruce Street sign. I didn't have to tear down everything to get ready. Whew. Let me just say, man, life is life, and so yeah, man, that was a story that I wasn't expecting to tell. That's why it's kind of long, because it was something that really, truthfully came from the heart, just out of nowhere, from me watching the Bernie Mac show and tripping on how I treated or ignored the woman that was in my life, and we need to quit doing that. We need to pay attention to everything that's going on around us, because if we don't, we're going to lose that person and wonder why we lost them. And at the end of the day, it's not always on them. Sometimes it be on us for thinking that we're the stuff. That's my story. You know me, I'm not into no fussing. Definitely ain't cussing, and I'm done bussing. So if you got a different view of this story, just get in the comments and let's have a discussion. Like and comment, share to someone that may need to hear something like this. But this is D Chill, and I'm out, y'all.